The Flash was obviously showcased at DC Fandom in not a major way, but in a minor way. I think a lot of us wanted to see more from The Flash, especially with all the delays and things of that nature. We were definitely hoping to see more of The Flash. Even though we were all really excited to see the Batman, The Flash was one that we also wanted to see. And even though they didn't show us as much as we wanted from DC Fandom, there are a couple of things that definitely we could take from the trailer and some things that are definitely exciting and mysterious at the same time. So I wanted to talk about everything that we know so far about The Flash, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. So let's get into it. So, guys, in an article written by David Miller of Screen Rant, The Flash will feature Supergirl and Michael Keaton's long-awaited return to the role of Batman. So Ezra Miller will return as Barry Allen in the upcoming DCEU film The Flash. As here's everything we know about the story so far, Ezra Miller's iteration of The Flash was first teased in Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, before making his first full appearance in Justice League, a role that was later improved and expanded on in the director's cut, Zack Snyder's Justice League. With his first solo film set to release in 2022, Ezra's next performance is highly anticipated, as it will also see the long-awaited return of Michael Keaton as the Batman of Tim Burton's classic films. So, first of all, guys, Ezra Miller, to me, is a fantastic actor. I think he's the perfect Flash. I'm very excited about the Flash movie. However, here are a couple of things that concern me a little bit about this title and just about the DC Cinematic Universe as a whole. One of the things that is concerning to me, guys, is even though it's great that Michael Keaton is coming back as Batman, how is this going to really fit into the overarching, legacy and story that the DCEU is trying to tell? We'll have to kind of wait and see, but I don't really like it so much from my perspective. The reason being, the Batman's coming out. And I know that the Batman is a standalone. It's not necessarily in the DCEU, but I kind of wish it was, because I would like to see Robert Pattinson's Batman in all of these movies, kind of like, so there's some consistency here, similar to what we've seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I would like to have seen Robert Pattinson in these titles instead of Michael Keaton, because then you start getting not necessarily confused, but it kind of gets convoluted when you got a number of different Batmans. There's talk of Ben Affleck coming back to play a couple of roles, obviously, as the Batman, and you've got the solo Batman movie that's being made with Robert Pattinson and Matthew Reeves. This just concerns me a little bit, because I just want them to really do, even though I don't want them to copy and paste what Marvel did, I want them to really build the story out before they bring out another Justice League 2. And when they do bring out another Justice League, who's going to be the Batman in that Justice League? Is it going to be Ben Affleck? Is it going to be Michael Keaton? Is it going to be Robert Pattinson? And that's what gets concerning. Now, we've got similar concerns with Spider-Man Far From Home. A lot of talk, No Way Home. There's a lot of talk in Spider-Man No Way Home that you've got all three Spider-Mans. You've got Tobey Maguire, you've got Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland Spider-Man all in that movie. That would get a little bit confusing, depending on how they do it, of course. That is just kind of my knee-jerk reaction to this. Even though I'm excited to see Michael Keaton back, it's just kind of a weird way of them doing it, and how is that going to look? I feel like it would have made a lot more sense to have Ben Affleck's Batman in this one than Michael Keaton's. But nonetheless, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about that in the comment section down below. The Barry Allen version of the beloved Scarlet Speedster debuted in 1956, and since his inception, alternate timelines in the multiverse have always been closely tied to his character and stories. The very first iteration of The Flash was Jay Garrick, whose 1940s Golden Age adventures are referenced in Barry's first appearance. This might have been confusing at first, given that both Jay and Barry knew and worked alongside Superman, but this was explained in 1961's Flash of Two Worlds, a historic story that popularized the concept of alternate universes in the superhero genre. Barry and Jay were each the Flash in their respective realities in each new version of Superman. Their powers allowed them to visit each other's universes and work together on occasion. So, okay. We obviously see Barry Allen. He creates a new Flash costume. Barry Allen wore a new version of his classic superhero costume in both versions of Justice League and a brief cameo in Suicide Squad. The outfit was, as described by Bruce Wayne, able to resist extreme cold and comparable friction to what space shuttles experience during re-entry. In addition to being extremely protective of Barry, the suit was stylish, keeping the signature red color and lightning bolt logo while appearing more armored than the comic version. As shown in the fandom preview, Barry will be getting a new and even more comic-accurate suit in 2022's The Flash, and there's a fascinating potential reason why. And I love the new suit as well. During the Arrowverse's Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover event, the TV version of Barry Allen, played by Grant Gustin, briefly spoke to the Ezra Miller iteration. Each version of Barry complemented the other's costume, noting the protectiveness of the DCEU suit and the comfort and sleekness of the Arrowverse costume. Barry's new suit in The Flash may be inspired by his brief interaction with his Arrowverse counterpart. So this is what I'm getting at, guys. This is where it gets a little bit confusing for me and why I don't like that they're almost trying to complicate things too much. I'll give you an example. Obviously, with this TV version of Barry Allen, and then you've got Ezra Miller's version in this, his iteration in it as well. It starts confusing kind of the narrative somewhat when you got the TV as well as the movies, and then it's almost like you have to watch the show to understand what's kind of going on potentially with the movie. Then you got Michael Keaton as Batman, Ben Affleck coming back as Batman, Robert Pattinson as Batman. It just gets a little bit too convoluted, and that's my biggest concern for The Flash, is that we're going to kind of lose sight of the Flash, and it's going to be, the eyes are going to be put on other things like Michael Keaton's Batman, for example. And those are things that really, really concern me about this. And not just the Flash, guys, but the other DCEU movies. Because what are they going to do with those ones, like Black Adam? Even the Batman, even though it's a solo, like, Batman movie, which is going to get a trilogy, apparently, it still concerns me about what they're going to try to seep into the Batman at some point or another. So, the fandom trailer for The Flash also reveals that Barry may travel back in time to prevent his mother's death. This is similar to the 2011 comic storyline called Flashpoint, in which Barry's attempts to save his mother wreak havoc on the timeline, creating an apocalyptic present day that he must reverse, along with defeating his nemesis, the Reverse Flash. The comic version of Flashpoint resulted in a major continuity reboot for the DC Universe, which was relaunched under the New 52 line. If The Flash is a live-action adaptation of DC Comics' story Flashpoint, there may be significant ramifications for the DCEU. So, time travel, it's interesting, guys. I like the concept of time travel. I love it, and I think it's a part of what The Flash is, so I'm totally on board with that. Now we get to The Flash meets Michael Keaton's Batman. The most anticipated story detail of The Flash is the return of Michael Keaton's Batman. Debuting in Tim Burton's game-changing 1989 superhero film, Michael Keaton played a soft-spoken, tortured, and surprisingly humorous version of Bruce Wayne and Batman. After two classic films and a phenomenal ongoing comic series by Sam Hamm and Joe Quinones, the Burton iteration of Batman will appear in The Flash, thanks to Barry's ability to travel across the multiverse. When Michael Keaton was announced to be reprising his famous role, some believed that he'd have only a brief cameo, but the fandom trailer suggests otherwise. Keaton's Batman provided the voice over the footage, and much of its runtime was spent in the Burton version of Wayne Manor and the Batcave. Batman himself only appears briefly at the end of the footage, but his voiceover suggests that he's aware of Barry's multiverse-spanning adventures, and Barry speaks to him, asking him, "You in?" With The Flash seeming to be an adaptation of Flashpoint, Barry might be unable to return to his original timeline as a result of his actions, and Keaton's Batman may become an ally in his quest to repair it. In Flashpoint, Barry worked alongside an alternate version of Batman, now Thomas Wayne, having witnessed his son Bruce get murdered in a twist on the classic Batman origin. Flashpoint's Batman was far more bitter and brutal than the mainstream version, so Keaton's Batman could be a fitting choice to play that role in the movie. So here we go with like the different alternate universes and all of that. It's an interesting concept, guys, but like I said, it just gets to a point where, is it going to get too convoluted? Now, hey, maybe they're going to do it perfect, guys, and it's going to be awesome, where it's going to make total sense and we're all going to be totally on board with it. I know a lot of you are on board with it. I'm not quite sold on the concept of Michael Keaton coming back as Batman. However, I'm totally open to the idea to see kind of what DC does. I hope they prove me wrong as far as, making it a little bit too convoluted. Now, the Flash also meets an alternate Flash and Supergirl. Another noteworthy moment in the DC fandom footage was a shot of Barry Allen flanked by Supergirl and what appears to be another version of himself, also played by Ezra Miller. While Supergirl might be from another timeline, her Kryptonian outfit and House of L chest symbol suggests that she's part of the main DCEU like Barry. Supergirl's existence in the DCEU was confirmed in a Man of Steel prequel comic, and some believe that she was teased in the film when Clark explores the Fortress of Solitude. Given Barry's timeline meddling, another version of Barry Allen, perhaps from a slightly different version of the DCEU, or a different part of its timeline is unsurprising. Given the story details teasing its fandom footage, The Flash is sure to be one of DCEU's most exciting installments yet. And I agree, this could be a really exciting installment, but I am concerned about it. I do want to hear from you guys, though. What do you guys think about it? Are you guys, kind of on the same page as I am? Do you think totally different than I am? I would love to hear your guys' thoughts about it in the comment section down below. At the end of the day, guys, I'm still very excited about The Flash. I'm just wondering, how are they going to fit all these pieces together? It'll be interesting to see. Let me know. And for more The Flash content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.